Hello, everyone and everybody and every of everything. It is I, Aimel, looking at you. Yeah, to your screen, directly in your eyes, with mine. Today, we are back once again for a new Draft League adventure. As always, this time on Pokemon Draft League, we are gonna be part of the BBL League, which stands specifically to the Banlist Battlers League. Pretty important for me to say what it actually means because apparently it stands for something else that is particular. I thought it was always because of a joke, like that it could be said like this, but actually no, there's actually a real thing that also means that BBL also means for something else, but not here. Just to let people know, which I hope. Okay, I guess we're gonna see these jokes appearing sometimes, I think or two, but those are just jokes, right? We get it. But yeah. So this league in particular. Also, don't worry, it's normal that I have no music yet. You're gonna see why later. So this league focuses on the big, powerful Ubers that you will normally see. Like, sure, that you can see Pokemon like Annihilate or Palafin, there are Ubers, but at Lowling Draft, here, we are talking about the real big guys. You know, stuff like, think of like the Kyurem forms, so the black and the white one. Think of stuff like Magirna, think of like a Reshiram, or even some Pokemon that aren't technically really Ubers, but are maybe sometimes allowed in draft, but most of the time they're banned. Think of stuff like Spectrier and Urshifu. Seagulls, right? I mean, sometimes it is not allowed from what I can remember. But yeah, really, the big one, a Mewtwo even. But not every one of them are allowed. Like, stuff like Eternatus is not allowed, Zation Crown is not. There's no Arceus inside, not even Bug. So it's almost every legendaries. Like there are some very broken ones, but we didn't have every single broken ones. Because I don't think some people will be happy to face stuff like Calyrex as Shadow Rider. But Ice Rider is allowed because we were like one short to be like one to be safe. So and Ice Rider was the most acceptable one of the very broken, but should be banned, but maybe could be allowed. So yeah. So in this Uber's league, we are in fact 18 people. 18. This is a big number compared to what I was in previously, the BBR, which, if we remember correctly, I won the whole thing. So hopefully, we're gonna keep after this a big win, be able to still continue what I'm capable of course. It would be a bit sad if I were to, win a whole league in my next one. I don't make playoff. Yeah, this year has been very rough. Like, not even because, like, mechanic and everything. It's just, like, I feel like the steep, like, the difficulty is very high with every people we have, which is actually a good thing. It makes it for a big, interesting challenge, you know. So, the way Yeah, okay. Now we have to go through drafting. How it will work? Well, it's drafting like the usual. We're gonna go by points. We have a budget. We have to we can of course finish with like some numbers, but you have to make sure you are, of course, not overspending your budget, of course. But how about the Hoobers? First, so they are classified in 4 tiers of Hoobers: the platinum tiered, the gold tiers, the silver tiered, and the bronze tier, which they're actually using in points. So 30 for platinum, 26, 24, and 20. And this system is just to apply what combination of Ubers you are allowed to have. Because yes, you can have more than one Uber tier Pokemon. So I'm gonna refer them as Uber tier because there's some of them that aren't technically real Ubers, and there are some actual Ubers that are not in these Uber tiers. I'm just gonna refer this to like this, just so you know. So you have like Dragon Ball that in the bronze tier Ubers, but you have stuff like Galjing, Bags, and Annihilate that are technically Ubers in Smogon, but they're not classified in Ubers on the league because of, Dragon Ball being different and everything. Because Dragon Ball is considered better and everything. So, it was put in there because they felt like having a part for Ubers plus Dragon Ball not being Ubers himself would be a bit too much or something like that. I'm sorry if you hear the doggy in the background. He is very. He expresses. He likes to talk. Little doggy. Okay, back to Ubers. So yeah, if you pick a platinum tier, that's the only one you can have. You cannot draft not even a bronze. If you draft a gold, you can have a bronze. If you can have a silver, you can have, I believe, yeah, you can have a second silver, your silver, or you can just have another bronze, or you can have a silver and a bronze. I don't think there was any draft that was double bronze. Not sure if it was also allowed. Like, and let me check 1 second, just to confirm real quick. Yeah, from what I can tell, every draft have at least a silver. From what I can tell, at worst, I mean, and then followed by a bronze at worst as well. So yeah, so that's the combination: platinum, gold, bronze, silver, silver, or silver, bronze, basically. And after that, you can follow up by any Pokemon that are not in the regular Pokemon you see in draft, and so on. And of course, we have terrestrialization in there. So how it work? The obvious, first obvious thing is that none of the Uber tiered can terrestrialize. Shocker, I know. So only the non-Uber tiered can, but not all of them. There are some that are Terra banned, so you can draft them, but you cannot make them your Terra captain. And if you do want to make your Terra captain, you have to pay a little bit more for a price. Like for example, if you draft Chiyu, which is 17 on the dock, and you want to make it Terra captain, now it's gonna cost 21 point instead of 17, and that same 21 points will be also reducing your Terra budget as well. Like you have a Terra budget of 27 for a maximum of 2 Terra captains, so 1 or 2. Technically, you can always afford 2 if you want, but you can just get by with 1 if you feel like not wanting to buy something from the bottom tier and have them as a second option for Terra. It's everyone's choice, basically. Okay, so I think I explained the draft rules. So, well, how the drafting works. I mean, how did the draft work, rather? Well, obviously, since there are, like I said, the platinum tiered, there are only 5 of them, so logically, the 5 first pick must be the platinum ones. Because, like you're gonna be late in the draft, you might as well get the better one. So there's 18 of us. Which spot did I got? Did I got the magic number 1? Maybe even number 2? Or maybe even one up of 3? Or maybe 4? What if I was 5, get the last platinum? I got 8th out of 18. So literally 1 spot away from being dead middle. So not a great placement for draft for sure. So that basically means I'm guaranteed a gold tier, and then maybe a bronze if they all last, which they probably will, because you can either go for your second Ubers with your first Ubers, or you can start with the non-Ubers one, because Maz, if people wants to get your second Ubers, you can instead start with the regularly good Pokemon. Like, okay, I'm not gonna go like over example. I think I'm already taking time explaining everything. I think it is time to simply start. Well, explain what I got. That's the interesting part. What the hell did I got? What did Mr. Aimel picked in all of this? And ladies and gentlemen, without further delay, let me introduce the 8th pick of the draft entirely, the first pick of the Montreal Ice Cube. Meet Palkia's origin form. This is our first pick, and what a pick it is. It is gold tiered, so if I can afford it, I'll be able to get a second Ubers in the bronze tier. Palkia is a powerful Pokemon. A rare, incredible water dragon typing with some incredible offensive stats not let down by awful defenses. This is just a pure wall breaker. Water Dragon is already hard to resist all at once, and Palkia also has access to really very good coverage. We were talking stuff like Flamethrower, Earth Power, Ice Beam, even Thunderbolt. Yeah, that's all about special attacks and power. As far as status move, is not the greatest. Thunder Wave is basically the better option it has. It has no. Otherwise, the other way it can set up its move is by setting up Rain Dance itself for powering up its water type attacks. I will also say that another drawback is that its abilities are the same for its regular form, Pressure being the only one that does something, which is not that great on Palkia itself because, while not frail, it's not an infinite hit taker. It has no way to heal itself reliably, otherwise it has to use Rest or Aqua Ring. So, I guess also another thing I have to explain properly. I have drafted Palkia's origin form specifically, which is the form that we got from Legends Arceus. For Palkia to use this form, it needs to be holding the Lustrous Globe, a different item from the Lustrous Orb, because while the orb grants power to water and dragon type attack for Palkia specifically, the globe also powers up its attack, but lets it be in this form. This is the only way I can have access to this form, meaning that my Palkia is item locked. It cannot be holding heavy duty boots, it cannot be holding choice packs, it cannot hold assault vest, it cannot hold leftovers, the Lustrous Globe, and nothing else. So that's already a drawback. So there will be no surprise in terms of item. They'll know if my Palkia is faster than them naturally or not. They'll know what type of damage it can produce. But beside that, it's still Palkia. Also, as another change I need to specifically mention before heading, its stats are different from the original form, where it drops 20 in attack from going from 120 to 100 and gets it in its speed instead from 100 to 120, which is basically a buff. Palkia is mainly a special attacker, so making it even faster is amazing. So overall, I would say the only drawback is of course the item restriction, the fact that its abilities will rarely come in handy, and it's mainly a wall breaker that has cannot even set up to make it even stronger. But besides that, it's still a Palkia at the end of the day. Bringing it down like this will be a big fag of loony from me. It hits hard. That's what Palkia is about, hitting really hard. So that is the first member of the Montreal Ice Queue. And on our way back, I was kind of worried I would be able to get a second Ubers because having Palkia do the heavy lifting seems like a little bit much, and I would love to have a second Ubers because like it's not every day you get to do an Ubers League, so might as well try as many of them as you can. Luckily for me, there were 2 bronze tier Ubers left on the board when it was my turn again. And between the 2 of them, I was able to get a clear decision. The first one that I didn't go with was Zamazenta's ground form, which like Palkia is item locked, and the reason I didn't go for it is because I already use it this generation, like in Ubers and Standard Wi-Fi League. And please do not allow it in Wi-Fi in Standard. I get thinking like, oh, bulky ghost type. No, don't allow it. It is way. It's like allowing. Okay, it's not a good comparison, but imagine allowing something like Ho-Ho in regular league. You're gonna be like, oh, it's 4-time week to rock. No, it's a freaking Ho-Ho. Don't. But yeah, I didn't go for it. If this was the only last bronze Ubers left, I would have went for it. But there was a second one on the board, and which one is it? You might be wondering. Well, 1 second. Why, it's no longer, it's Dialga's origin form. I waited for the music to rewind at the perfect time, as you can tell. So, Dialga's origin form is just like its counterpart, a powerhouse, but in a different way. Boasting the Steel Dragon typing, which is a even rarer but still fantastic typing. Like, you would think it's not that easy to deal with his typing at once. It's something as bulky as Dialga as well. Yeah, this thing will not go down without taking a super powerful Earthquake of close combat, that's for sure. Just like Palkia, it keeps its regular abilities in either Pressure or Telepathy. Pressure is a little bit more helpful on Palkia in comparison because it's a better hit taker with a better defensive typing. But just like Palkia, it's not an ability that really catapults Dialga's viability because just like Palkia, I drafted the origin form. And the only way to have the origin form is to use the Adamant Crystal item, which powers up its Dragon and Steel moves, sure, but this means, you know, no leftovers, no boots, no Shook Elf, Choppleberry. Once again, they will know its damage, they will know how much it can do and how much it can take without anything surprising. And yeah, okay. It might not have Palkia's buff speed, but instead, it lost also 20 attacks just like Palkia, but instead gained special defense, making it even tankier compared to regular Dialga. Base stat wise, of course, not factoring idle items. And just like Palkia is also Palkia is mainly a wall breaker that wants to go fast. Dialga is a juggernaut. It will hit hard and it will be hard to remove nonetheless. So just like Palkia, a deep coverage move pool with its stabs and other moves similar to Palkia, I guess, like Earth Power and Flamethrower, and also the same move I mentioned, minus water move, what it said, Steel type moves. And it might have also a lot of self moves, but there are some that are actually quite interesting to have because you have a better move pool on the other side, like support. Like it gets Stealth Rock, which doesn't sound tempting to have your Ubers be the one set up rocks, but I think Dialga is a nice exception to that rule. And then of course it can spread Thunder Wave very effectively. And also I think that Trick Room is also an underrated option on it. Like it doesn't get its speed buff like Palkia does, so versus the faster threat of the generation, Dialga can just flip the matchup. It can just be faster versus things that are naturally slower, and then just Trick Room versus everything that is faster. It still hit hard. So, for me, I think it will be an interesting decision that have both, the Gen 4 trio minus Giratina. Call me Cyrus because you cannot stop Dialga and Palkia when they're together at the same time. But I guess they're not gonna be out at the same time when fighting, but hey, that's the closest I can be from Cyrus. So yeah, those are my Uber tiered Pokemon for this draft league, and I hope I will make great use of them. They overlap in their Dragon typing, sure, but they don't have the same weaknesses, at least, so I feel like it's still make a good decision of having them at the same time. Alright, and now on that, it's time to go for the non-Ubered tiered Pokemon. So, I know I originally thought about wanting to use Rain, because you know, they'll be able to use imagine using a Palkia under Rain. Yeah, good luck finding this. And then I could have, you know, excellent speed option with Swim Pokemon. But I thought it over, and I know it can be awkward to use Weather in draft. So I decided to not go for Weather. But I still want something to make sure I can be fast. Because, you know, Palkia is fast, but it cannot be faster via an item. And I found my idea. Meet Ogerpon Terra! I have decided to make my Ogerpon a Terra captain for this. And as you know, Ogerpon can terrestrialize to, you know, get the whole shake. Also, I guess something I forgot to mention about terrestrialization is that the rules are you can terrestrialize your Pokemon into any of the 19 Terra types. but you have to reveal the type to your opponents. So that's something that we are familiar with, but it's gonna be interesting to have on the main draft league, because you know BBR we had a Terra ban. The last season of BBR was like only 2 Terra types, and like I know like for other leagues on the side it was like multiple Terra type, and also other leagues that we did before was like, well, it was this rule. Ogerpon doesn't follow that rule because it is locked into one type depending on the form. So my opponents will always know it's Terra Grass Ogerpon. There's no surprise in that. But what it lacks in Terra type versatility is, well, what it gets when Ogerpon Terrastalize, getting the embodied aspect ability that grants her a speed boost. I'm pretty familiar with Ogerpon this generation. Like, I tried it in the first opportunity I had when the Teal Mask dropped. I had a couple share of testing with Earth Flame and Wellspring when I was mocking for my friends. Then in BBR I used Cornerstone, which I won, and I won the league with it. And now we're going back full circle by finally using a Terra Ogerpon. This Ogerpon can only use Grass type, of course, compared to the 2 or 3 other forms. But the fact that she has the best regular ability in Defiant pre-Terra and the best stat buff when it Terras, being, you know, a speed boost, like for absolute free. And this one is actually not item lock. I think it was a good decision on my part. Like, it doesn't matter if it's only pure grass, it's actually still great. It's still a good move pool. Offensively, you know, we have your sub Ivy Cudgel, which is super reliable because it doesn't make contact. It has a little high crit chance compared to other move. Of course, you have knockoff, you have U-turn, you have stomping tantrum, and you have also utility in spiky shield, taunt, synthesis, spikes. Yeah, overall, great Pokemon. I think I'm gonna love it. Yeah, so as you know, I'm gonna go a little bit faster on the other Pokemon of the draft because, as you know, I think, yeah, I'm 22 minutes in. I'm still on my 3rd Pokemon, so I think I need to speed things up. So, yeah. So, well, I actually forgot to. Yeah, I forgot to do this. Like, I'm doing everything live. So yeah. So as you can see, yeah, I have a good stat as a Defiant. Didn't put the one for the Terraform, but who cares? And we can remove this. So next, 4th pick. I thought Volcarona could work here because I thought having a fire type could be pretty crucial in this league because of how the fire type brings versus certain threat that we're gonna be facing up against. Volcarona, as we all know, is a setup sweeper with the broken Quiver Dance, and I mean, the typing is not that fantastic, but honestly, it can be more annoying than you think if you don't strike it with a rock type move specifically. Like, yeah, sure, Volcarona is strong offensively, but I think defensively it's underrated as well. Like, it can spread burns, which can patch up its lower physical defense. It can stay healthy with Morning Sun as well. Really, it could be very annoying to deal with. So I thought I wanted to use it again after a long time. And of course, it's gonna be non-Terra Volcarona as well. So yeah, I'm gonna decide to see if I can give some love for regular old Volcarona. Alright, 5th pick. It might not be a Great Tusk, it might not be an Iron Treads, but Donphan is as reliable as ever. A pure ground type with high physical stats, with the only downside being its speed and special defense. But beside that, it's one of the better Rapid Spin user. Not that I need Rapid Spin specifically, but the option being there on a good Pokemon nonetheless is appreciated. Otherwise, Strong Earthquake, another user of knockoff, High Sharp Priority while not stabbed can always be valuable, and same goes for Sturdy if I want to. I can make sure my Donphan always take a hit, assuming I'm not destroyed by hazards. And by the HP I mean. So, we all know what it does. Again, it's not its Paradox forms, but Donphan is still solid. It's Donphan. What can I say? Alright, next. Wait, I forgot. I forgot it was Gengar next. I was gonna do a bit. Okay, I was gonna do a bit of like, man, I really wanted a poison type. I also wanted a ghost type. And I thought some Pokemon, but I didn't know which one to get. Then I was gonna make it like, oh, but you know, you special run before. You're gonna use special again? And then I'll be like, no, it's Gengar. I ruined the bit myself, and I don't want to restart my recording either. Thank you, myself. Gengar! Alright, one of the original Pokemon, one of the original fast, strong special attackers. Like, currently, I know I've seen some people seeing like a little downfall of Gengar. Like, not say it's not viable or anything, but like saying that Gengar starts to not feel that great. But I mean, that's some I just still needed on the left. Like, its typing is just that. I could have drafted Pecharon, but that would be like my fourth draft never with Pecharon. I need to change things up. Like, I cannot be the only one using Pecharon. I need other people to know that it's broken by making them use Pecharon instead. So yeah. But Gengar, yeah, it's the opposite of Pecharon. It's offensive, you know, Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, and it also has a lot of support move pool. Like, you know, if you have your Will-O-Wisp, you got Toxic Spikes this gen. It also has Encore, it has Taunt, it has Destiny Bond, Parashong. It's a Ghost type. It has the move pool of Ghost type, the offenses. Focus Blast may be annoying, but I don't care. It's Gengar. Gengar is Gengar. It's good Gengar. Hopefully I'll be able to make it look good, even if it's Ubers. Because, yeah. Alright, next. I thought that my team could use for a more bulkier Pokemon. And I thought Umbreon could fit the bill. Umbreon, very tanky. Normally some tanky Pokemon got hurt this generation with the loss of Toxic. Luckily, Umbreon isn't one of those Pokemon. It kept Toxic. It's not even passive because it has Stab Foul Play to make up for its low offenses. It can heal itself with either Moonlight or Wish. It has momentum. It can spread status, like I said with Toxic, but also Thunder Wave or even Yawn to make it very... It's basically your very annoying tanky Pokemon. And I thought about having a tanky Dark type would be good with some powerful Psychic type running Mark. So yeah. And its abilities, well, not the most situationally clutch, but can still be useful, like Synchronize to annoy people trying to status my Umbreon, or Inner Focus if I need to make sure I do not get flinched by a slim threat. So yeah, it's Umbreon. It does what Umbreon does. Next, a little bit more speed and a useful typing with Hawlucha joining the board. Hawlucha's fighting and flying typing was very welcome, especially by having a Dialga, so having a flying type will cover my Dialga's weaknesses. It might not be the strongest fighting type around, but I think it's offset by the fact that its typing is very good. You know, stab close combat, and then you can have your choice of Brave or Acrobatics. Because, you know, you're known for unburdened but acrobatic stuff, but as you can see, I don't have any terrain setter. But I don't think Hawlucha is terrain dependent at all. I have other ways to trigger Unburden, with stuff like close combat with White Herb. I can also use Power Herb, Sky Attack, or other options. Otherwise, Limber could sometimes be useful to prevent paralysis, or it can be Mold Breaker to bypass certain annoying abilities. And yeah, like I said, not a high attack stat naturally, but its stabs are very strong, plus pretty fast with Swords Dance. Yeah, I think it was a good Pokemon to add onto the team. Next, I was crucially in lack of a Fairy type. Luckily, there was a good one still on the board. Hatterene! Pretty interesting typing of Psychic and Fairy, but also has Magic Bounce, a pretty annoying ability to deal with. And also a high special attack, and also a very low speed stat that could be good if I want to run Trick Room set. Or, you know, Trick Room with like Pokemon like Donphan or Dialga as well. Otherwise, you know, strong stab, like, you know, with Psychic. I think it got Psychic Noise this generation. Did it got Psychic Noise? I'm gonna confirm this. It actually does get Psychic Noise, so it has a stab to prevent recovery. Of course, it also has Nozzle to spread paralysis. It also has Baton Pass for momentum. It has a Future Sight as well. Or I can even use Healing Wish to bring back up my Ubers or Ogerpon. So yeah, I think Hatterene fits the draft just fine. And then lastly, I had a singular point left on the draft. Literally one, which is almost unheard of for me, because usually I always have leftover points, and when I do have leftovers, I just spend on something very bad just for the sake of it. But here, I'm pretty much forced to have to do it. So you know, I've been successful with Pokemon like Lechonk or Oshawott. So what Pokemon could have ever drafted to follow in their footsteps? Well, I decided I would go with a Graveler. Yep, okay. Funnily enough, I was looking at Geodude because I thought it could be funny to use a Geodude. But then, after some thought, I was like, fine. Graveler is also 1 point. I'll be optimal. I'll draft Graveler. Sure, I could have drafted something else at 1 point, like maybe an electric type. I don't know. I could have drafted like maybe like I don't know, like the Calyrex, Cosmoem, Cutiefly, maybe Fraction. Nah. Anyway, so I have 1 point left. And wanna know something funny? It's also a Terra Captain, and this one can actually Terra into any of the 19 type. But earlier I said that it costs more to draft a Pokemon with Terra points. Well, when you start going to the bottom of the barrel, these Pokemon, there are some Pokemon that doesn't have their price increase when chosen to Terrastalize them, and that Graveler is one of them. So it stayed at 1 point. I just have a free Pokemon to have the option to Terrastalize. But you might be saying, but Aimel, you have Terra Ogerpon. Are you serious? You're not gonna Terrastalize a Graveler instead and do something stupid like, I don't know, Terra Normal Explosion? And to that I say, of course! What do you take me for? That's my whole shtick, to use weird Pokemon and make them work. That's why I like when playing Pokemon. So if I don't ever bring Terra Normal Boom Graveler once, I don't know, I'm gonna be mad at myself because I wanna do this real bad. Okay, and besides that, honestly, Graveler is not the worst thing you could think of. Like, it has Sturdy, which is a great ability to make sure I can take a hit and it just retaliate back all the time. It has Bait 95 attack and Stab Earthquake. That's not bad at all. Or I can make use of Eviolite because it's not fully evolved and use that gigantic defense stat, even for a not fully evolved Pokemon. Yeah, I like how I'm spending more time on Graveler than other Pokemon in this draft, but I mean, when do you ever see a Graveler being drafted? like in all seriousness as well. Like, when do you ever see someone say that, yeah, Graveler is part of the team and he will be an actual player, not a bench warmer all the time? Like, hopefully, at least I hope he won't be a bench warmer all the time. So, yeah, on that, you have the entire team under your eyes. Palkia Origin, Dialga Origin, Terra Ogerpon, Volcarona, Donphan, Gengar, Umbreon, Hawlucha, Hatterene, and Graveler. This draft league analysis will be up after the draft analysis stream that will happen, well, this, is it Saturday? It will be this weekend. At least at the time I'm recording this. It will be this weekend, that's for sure. And yeah, we're gonna have to play and hopefully we're gonna make playoff because versus against 18 people, that's gonna be pretty tough. Either we're gonna be up against 17 because I shouldn't count myself as to be up against. But I guess I do have to make sure Anyway, so that's the draft. That will be yours truly. Draft. I will stop recording now because I'm running out of ideas to what to say for the end. And that just confuses me. So hopefully we are gonna have a fantastic run and do our best as always. So see you guys then. Of course, check everyone else. There's a lot of people to go through, so make sure you look at all of them. All their videos. And on that, okay, now I really have nothing else to say. 35 minutes of draft recording is long. So see you guys when we're gonna be up for a draft league game of week 1. Later, everybody.